So we just got this 1967 Camaro back from the Media Blaster, and as usual, there's a couple secrets. We thought it'd be fun to do a little walk around video to show you what we found and also tell you why we do the things the way we do here at V8 Speed and Resto. All right, one of the first things that you might notice is that we did not have the entire car media blasted. We had these areas, but we left the paint here on the quarter panel. And we do that on purpose. We leave the paint up on the roof skin, on the top, and then on quarter panels. And if we're gonna have doors done, we'll leave the middle of the door still in paint. The reason why we do that is because these flat panels that aren't supported are where you have the potential for warpage in the blast process. It can happen to even the best blasters. So these areas are really hard to strip by hand. They're all these little jagged shapes and whatnot. So we always have our media blaster strip those because these are the strongest areas. And then when the car comes back, we'll go ahead and take a regular DA sander and just buzz off this paint on these big flat spots, like up on the roof as well. And that way it doesn't take a whole lot of time, but we are guaranteed that we're in control, making sure we don't warp this stuff. You'll also notice that there's some patterns here like this, right? This looks like this got wet, okay? The runs and drips. Well, what you're seeing there is the remnants of a coating that our blaster applies to these cars when they do it. I believe it's called Hold Tight, and it is a coating that will keep this thing from flash rusting for about 72 hours. Now, the blast process we used was a dustless blasting, which uses high pressure water and then a crushed glass bead. You can kind of see some right here. Pick all that up. And you can tell it's glass. It's almost a little iridescent. It kind of reflects light, interestingly. And the blaster does a pretty good job of cleaning it out. We still have a little bit of remnants here and there of some of the media that was used. We use a place called Triple T Dustless Blasting. They're local to us in the Midwest area, actually in St. Louis. So they went through and stripped all these areas. At the first glance, and to be honest with you, I'm looking at this mostly for the first time myself, things look pretty good. I mean, a lot of times, you know, these cars you'll find big holes in the floor and a lot of rust. We do see some holes in the floor back here, a little rust there. I did notice that this outer cowl panel, which is also known as the tulip panel because of the shape, it looks like a tulip leaf. This one on this side has a little hole down here, so we'll fix that. And there's also some rust up here on the dash, which is a real commonplace for first generation Camaros. The firewall looks pretty good. It looks like it was beat up here and there. These cars, believe it or not, do not have beautiful firewalls from the factory. They always have evidence of weird stampings, but you never know what happened to a car over the years. Sometimes we've seen them where the car got hit and the transmission moved back and wrinkled the floor up. I don't think that happened here, but another interesting thing, we have one of the VINs on the car. The VIN is stamped in several locations and not just the tag on the dash. So it's there. I think it's stamped up here. It's definitely on the dash, and always neat to find those. Looks like this tulip panel is much worse. A lot of rust there. The rockers look pretty solid from here. And the quarter panels are kind of interesting because these were replaced. The original General Motors Chevrolet quarter panel ends here. It goes all the way to the seam, and this is all one piece. In this case, we have a skin, an outer quarter skin, that has been welded on, but brazed, right? With some of this brazing material here. I don't know, you can see it's cut and folded over. I don't know the quality of that repair. I don't think it's very good. This can probably peel right off if you cut that free. And again, this was not stripped by the blaster. We are most likely going to replace these with new quarter panels that go all the way to the original factory seam, so we have a full and complete repair. because I don't really dig this. Now you can sometimes, re-weld these things, TIG weld them up and straighten them. We'll discuss all that. We'll see what the best option is for this car. One of the areas that we did notice that needed some help was down here in the wheelhouses. There's a big rusty spot there. And look, there's a weld bead up here, right? Well, that's not supposed to be there. So that means something got welded to that, but on the other side, and we'll take a peek there. Got a little hole down here. And in the back of the wheel tub area, we've got a little more corrosion here and there. But let's see if we can take a peek in the trunk. I'm gonna climb up here. Oop, yep, it's rolling. Okay, so at first glance, we have some pock marks in the trunk floor. Just at a quick look, it's hard to see if those go through. I'm gonna guess those are pinholes that go all the way through. But look at this, remember that weld bead? So somebody made that L-shaped panel there that's welded in on both sides, because these cars, again, were notorious for that inner rear quarter wheelhouse rusting away where it meets the trunk floor. You can see that evidence of that still there. This was somebody's way to repair it. I guess it kept everything stuck together. Not very high quality repair. So that's all going to get changed out. So those are kind of some of the big things we found. This is kind of interesting. I'm seeing this, and I'm not sure what we're looking at there. We have a couple of rivets that are still evident, and a hole and a couple of screw holes. And let's see what that looks like on the other side. See, there's a panel there. Where's this thing? So I believe that could have been maybe an alarm. Maybe there was a key alarm a million years ago. Those are pretty popular. But I don't know. That will definitely get fixed. We'll either cut that piece out and flush weld in something that you'll never be able to determine was ever there. And that's our mission on these cars, is to make it look like the metalwork never happened. We have a little more rust up here that we have to knock out. One of the things that is interesting on this car is this panel right here. This is the mounting point for an original traction bar. So traction bars were optional on these cars. They came on the Z28, but on the regular Camaro and the RS and the SS, you could get these added. So these two mounts go through the floor, or they used to, and held the traction bar in place. Yeah, here's part of it. Now somebody had welded on another traction bar when we got this car, so there is some booger weld and stuff that we're gonna have to fix there. But kind of neat, you don't see these traction bar mounts every day. And again, back here you can see more of that hole and some of the rusty crusty back there. So overall, I'm gonna say this is a clean car. It doesn't have panels flapping in the breeze, and it doesn't need an entire floor. But sometimes you can spend more time fixing the little stuff than it takes to just change out the whole panel. I wanted to peek over here for a sec, because I noticed this. This is a piece. This is a piece of MIG wire. Somebody was repairing something in here, I think, and it got stuck. Yeah. Interesting. But stripping them down to bare steel is the best way to go. And for us, now we can cleanly replace all that steel and document it in video and in photographs so that the customer can follow along and see the level of detail. Because at this level, you got nothing to hide, right? You got to make sure everything looks right, or like I said before, it looks like we were never there. If you've got a car that needs some metal work, some rust repair, maybe you've got something that's not a muscle car, a cool hot rod or something you want to build. You can find us at v8speedshop.com, and we're always happy to chat about whatever project you've got going on. Maybe we can help you out with it.